99.1 and 93.5 The Roar, the Woodward Sports app, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
Welcome to Big D Energy here on the Woodward Sports Network on this not-so-beautiful Monday. I am Jeffrey Iafrate, filling in for the real deal, Neil Rule, my partner in crime for this week, the man with the cannabis brand, four-time Stanley Cup champion, Darren McCarty.
Pontoon.
We're driving the pontoon this week.
All week, baby. Good to see you, Juice.
Good to see you. How you doing today, D-Mac?
I'm doing good. How was your weekend?
It was good. You know what? Another person had a good weekend. Our guy in the booth, Sam Flannel. Sam, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm great, man. And what Jeff is referring to is on Friday, while I wasn't here, I was at Wrigley Field watching the Cubs.
Can I let you kill this guy for a sec? Because can I bring this back? And I'm going to bring this to the people out there in Big D land. So I said to Sam Flannel, you know, we're having a little conversation as he's getting the audio going earlier. I said, how was your weekend? He goes, it was good. I said, do anything exciting? Yeah, you know, had fun. Oh, what'd you do? Went to Wrigley Field. Now, I know we're in Detroit, not Chicago, but isn't that...
That's a great weekend.
Isn't that, but like Wrigleyville. And I've been fortunate enough, obviously, being friends with the Godfather, Chris Chelios, to be able to watch a game or two from across the field in the stadium, but to walk around Wrigleyville and stuff like that, that's still... Had that been your first time there?
No, it was my third. And what's cool about Wrigley Field is even when the Cubs are bad, which they're a terrible team, they have a record similar to the Tigers, those fans show out and they pack that place. And it was electric. The Cubs won on a game-winning two-run home run in the bottom of the eighth by Wilson Contreras, and the stadium was absolutely electric. And the thing about this Cubs team versus our Tiger team, the Cubs actually have some exciting young pieces like Wilson Contreras, Ian Happ, Nico Horner, Christopher Morel. Christopher Morel is an unheralded rookie who has a better average on-base percentage and slugging than even Riley Green, if you want to get depressed, Tiger fans.
Yeah, but of course, Sam. Way to let you kill it. Just kick those Tigers when they're down. We told you, Neil's not here. We're not going to talk about it. But my question, do you have a Cubs hat or jersey or T-shirt or something like this, or do you just flannel it out when you're there?
Oh, I just wore a regular T-shirt, actually. You guys probably wouldn't even be able to recognize me.
Oh,
I know.
Do you have any pictures from the trip?
I do have a couple of selfies that I took with my fiance. I don't know if it can show what I was wearing, but I will see if I can dig them up and bring them in.
Look at that after. I just be interested. Wouldn't recognize them. How many straight days of flannel?
That is 111.
Oh, wow. The ones are out.
He's triple digits. He's triple digits. But last but not least, I got to introduce, again, my guy back. Wasn't here Friday. Missed you, Spenny. How you doing?
I'm good. Saw Nope over the weekend. That was pretty wild. Was supposed to go to Lions training camp today, but it's got rained out. They closed it to the public.
Did. You were not in. I was not in either. Yes. I was on the golf course. And shout out to, actually, last night I did a show, Freddy's Bar and Grill.
You did?
Jenna Newman was there. Art Smith, our boy Art, showed up there. So I got a few jabs in on him, Fish, for you. But you were at training camp on Friday.
What'd you see?
I was. Oh,
how was that experience? And will you take the listeners through the morning? Because, when I left here on Thursday and then we were talking, you were like a kid on Christmas. Yeah. You were it was like Christmas morning. And I know you had Pops' 70th birthday, so that was going to be a banger.
Yeah.
And all that shout out to Pops, because I liked what you said, that he was all stoked that Braylon and I gave him a shout out. But explain the day. Did the day go as planned down there?
Yeah, it did. It was a lot of fun. We got there. We were sitting in one of the sections. Cade Cunningham's brother was there. We talked to him for a while. Yeah, Cannon was there. Me and Easy talked to him for a while. We're going to get him, Cade, and Ashton and some merch heavyweights got coming out pretty soon. But yeah, we were there. I had some breakfast tater tots that were really good, and then at the end of it, I brought a anime figure to give to Jamal Williams.
I heard about that.
Yeah, talk to us about that.
So he said he's a big anime guy, and as am I. And he said if you bring him some kind of anime merch, he'll give you something. He'll sign his gloves and give them to you. And so he was looking around at the end of practice, and I held it up, and he called me over. I went over there and gave it to him, and he was like, all right, what do you want? And I was like, let me get an interview for heavyweights. And he was like, all right, sure, just write your name and number down. And I wrote my name and number down. So we're gonna get that eventually. So I'm excited about that.
Hey, not only I was excited what you were gonna get back. I was hoping maybe you did get a glove or you're gonna show us that, but you went straight for the team.
Yeah,
that's the
Proud
grind.
of you, kid.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Proud of you, kid. And did you see your boy Malcolm? Did you have your jersey on?
I did have my jersey on. I didn't see Malcolm. He was out and about, and I didn't text him or anything, let him know.
That's smart.
I messaged him later, and he's like, "Oh, you should have let me know you were there." I told him today. I was like, "I'll be there today," but it got rained out. So
that's all right. Are you planning on going back at all?
Hopefully, yeah, I can get back out there for another one. It was a lot of fun.
So what did you? Let's talk about being there live.
Yeah.
Right. So what was that vibe as far as it? We always talk about same old lines, right? And try to tell you, I don't see it the same because of the. Until we see the actions, obviously the game has to be played, but training camp and stuff like this, hearing different things. What was your impression?
It was different for sure. It was very different. You could see it was very well organized. All of the coaches were on the same page. All the players were dialed in, ready to go. Very, happy for the fans. A lot of fan interaction. So it seems like it's being run very well, like a legitimate NFL franchise runs their training camp. So it's very excited to see that coming out. And when we went, it was just shoulder pads and shorts, so they weren't doing any crazy tackling drills, but they were doing 11 on 11, going after, running plays, so that was fun to watch. The intensity is high. Yeah. Actually, the day before I went, they had to get pulled off the field by the NFLPA guy because they were going over their required amount of time.
They don't want to leave.
You can only go for so long. And the NFLPA guy came out there and was like, all right, you guys got to pack it up. You've been going too long. So you can tell they're all dialed in, they're bought in, and it's got the makings of a great season.
But that's a good point. And only to this, because little backdrop to why players associations, that's where they stopped in football, the two-a-days and the different. It's part of the negotiating, the bargaining power, but you can tell, right? So for us, being once we won Stanley Cups and stuff like this and going to camp, it was more or less maintenance, you get what you needed to get, but it was a 3-hour process. It wasn't the work, right? You knew what you needed to do, and hockey was a little bit different. But the fact that you tell me, Spence, is that they weren't looking to leave. They were looking to do work, and sort of the clock ran out. Now you understand what it has to be, but that's a different mentality, and that's what you want out of your team. Oh, we're done already? You know how many times you put your head down when you got something to do, and next thing you know, you're worried, this is going to take me 3 hours, but you get into it, and next thing you know, it's done.
Yeah.
I mean, aren't video games
same thing?
The greatest lose time. I could just lose time. You throw on, shout out to Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, it's one of the best games of all time.
Right, exactly. But you could just lose, right?
And I think too, a bigger point is it was different with Matt Patricia. Guys wanted to get off the field, so that's the biggest sign I would take away too. Is guys want to practice. They want to go through the process,
and they want to be there for their teammates.
Absolutely,
along the same lines as what I said, where Spence went for the heavyweight interview with Williams instead of getting the article. It's thinking above it, but it looks like they're all committed. There's some. You always hear about some pushing and shoving and some guys not liking each other, and I'm going to hate this guy and this guy. That's what you want. That's what you hear out of healthy training camps. So.
It's like what Berlin said on Friday. He said if you don't have a fight at training camp, you're doing something wrong. And I was watching some clips, and I want to ask you if you've seen it because you talked about the intensity. I saw a clip out of Hard Knocks. So they showed the highlights of the trailer, and it got me so excited for tomorrow because you saw the coaches going at it.
Yeah.
I saw Deuce Staley, the offense would score. He'd be in Aaron Glenn's face.
Oh, yeah.
Defense would get a stop. Aaron Glenn would be walking by Deuce Staley talking trash. How was that dynamic? Do you see the coaches going at it too?
Yeah, for sure. You can, no matter where you are in Allen Park, you can hear Deuce Staley.
I love that.
That man's yelling the whole time. And it's... We talked about this on heavyweights a little bit, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. Come check us out. But it's they're former players as well.
Boom.
So,
that's it right
so
there.
they know what it's
what did
about.
I say last year? The thing that when you looked at, why was it going to make a difference? You got Hank Fraley, offensive line, guy that's played in the league. like you said, you got Deuce Staley, Aaron Glenn, you got Dan Campbell. We saw this clip on Twitter, if you haven't seen this clip, when Dan Campbell was
tearing into
coaching, whether he was the interim coach or it was before he got promoted. But I don't know who he was tearing into, but pretty much, when your guy catches the ball, you go block, don't watch him run. Preaching the same sort of thing. You hear last year was bite the kneecaps. This year it's we're going to tread water until we can bury everybody and stuff. That's awesome. But it's cool to say, but then when you see it following up, and that only runs when your coaches are competitive like that, and it's that healthy competition to whatever else, but your side of the ball or your position group will invest into you.
Yes.
What do they always say? Your team is your coach defines sort of your team.
Absolutely.
Right? This is the way, and Dwayne Casey, you're the Pistons guy, right? To your GM, but they're formed in the way that they form, and when there is competitiveness, especially inside, when you want to be the best in that building before you even go out, like that's one of the things, right? Is that you skate around and warm up and be like, dude, I beat Stevie in a shootout there this morning in pregame skate, and the tough guy in the other team. Who cares? Yeah. Or a player wouldn't care, but a tough guy come by and go, oh, you beat the scorers? Oh yeah, have a little, even though you're on other teams, but it's like you're not that good. You know what I'm saying? So that's great to hear. It's great to get the eyeball test
for sure
in there now. Again, availability and everything else. So, you're happy you went. You walked home, smile on your face.
Oh yeah, very very good experience. Glad I went. It was a lot of fun. I'm trying to go back again for sure.
Tons of people.
Yeah, a lot of people. It was packed.
I heard it was the most people in attendance since 2014.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. I mean, I get COVID was in the middle of kind of a couple years ago, but still, like this new regime, people. Like, call it drinking the Honolulu Blue Kool-Aid, but people are excited. And I think they have the right to be. And you talked about the head coach and how Dan Campbell, his approach, that trickles down. Like, every NFL team, they mimic the identity of their head coach. And I think Dan Campbell, what he's been doing especially, I mean, his pressers are the greatest thing. That's what I'm most excited about.
We're going to get into this in the next...
I can't wait.
But how excited are you for Hard Knocks?
I'm very excited.
Fired up.
I love Hard Knocks every year, and now that it's my team, that just makes it even more exciting.
And then even seeing some of the clips coming out, some of the previews and stuff like this. Yeah. Must see, absolutely, TV. If we're going to go work out, where will we go work out?
I know Sam Flannel has the inside information. Tell us about it, Sam.
Where you work out?
Yes, I mean, from time to time. You'd work out at Planet Fitness, of course, because Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone, where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. And if you are a high school teen between the ages of 14 and 19, you can work out for free all summer long via the High School Summer Pass, and that goes all the way till August 31st, with membership starting at only $10 a month. Join today in club online at planetfitness.com. Planet Fitness, where DMAC.
Your fitness is essential.
I wasn't ready for that. I didn't know Sam was good.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
What's up, guys? At Alta, Uptime Matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. You have a bog project coming up. Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844. Go to Alta. That's 844. Go to Alta.
Welcome back to Big D Energy, and we're going to get into it. We got some Hard Knocks to discuss. It airs tomorrow on HBO. I'm excited. I know a lot of people in this office are excited. Lions fans are excited. But specifically on Hard Knocks, we do have to talk about different things. One of those things being, who are you most excited to see? And I know a lot of people, I've been making content about Hard Knocks, and the heavyweights have talked about it as well. But I do want to go around the room before I give my answer. And I'll start with you, Sam Flannel. Hard Knocks debuts tomorrow on HBO. Who's a player, a coach? I don't want to limit it to just players because it could be a coach as well. Who are you most excited to see tomorrow?
I have two. I'm going to go with offensive coordinator Ben Johnson and defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, because I believe those two are the key to the Lions having a successful season. Aaron Glenn was obviously a guy who, even though the Lions' defensive statistics don't look great at the end of the year, he did a great job. He was dealing with a defense that wasn't very talented and had some big injuries to guys like Romeo Okwara and Jeff Okudah. He was so highly thought of that he interviewed for head coaching jobs. And that defense put up some impressive performances against Baltimore and Arizona, for example. And of course, on offense, Ben Johnson, is he going to be the play caller? Is he going to be the guy that steps in and continues on the momentum at the end of last year where the offense kind of broke out, where Jared Goff broke out? Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds, and they finished the year 3-3. So I'm excited to see how they coach, how the players respond to them, and because I believe those two are the main keys as far as the coaching staff goes.
What do you think about that, D-Mac? He went with two coaches.
Absolutely. My first one is Ben Johnson.
I love it.
I just want to see the interaction. You know, I think what the best part of Hard Knocks is you really get to see the conversations and communication. Like, is he a guy that goes to golf, or the way he interacts? Is it a committee where he's asking questions? Is it more back and forth, or is it more authoritative?
Right.
Like, we're going to do it this way and then we're going to do it this way, because you really don't know. I like what Sam absolutely said, because of how last year finished, because there's something that it's like, oh, something is different. So I guess when I say Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator, it goes on the offense, but really because he's not the new guy, but he's the new guy in the new position.
Right.
Where the offense is supposed to be as powerful as they are, especially the offensive line. I want to see the interaction. I want to see the communication, because all great offenses across the NFL, right, they click. When you hear them in the huddle, and you hear when the Bucks and Brady are humming, even Rodgers, even Mahomes, when all the best ones, it's like there's a synergy there between the coaches, staff, the offensive coordinator, the quarterbacks, the way it goes. So that will be the one. Number two, and this sort of feels out, but I'm interested in the linebackers. You know, it's easy to say, yeah, you have the eye on Okudah.
Right.
To see about that eye on Swift in the backfield. Is this offensive line as dominant to our defensive line as what I'm hearing? Right. But again, it's like the speed. Right. And obviously, Malcolm Rodriguez from what we're hearing, but to me it's Derek Barnes. To me it's Derek Barnes to hear some of the great things that I hear coming out of camp, but we need, right, those linebackers, and we need to not only be able to cover horizontally, sideline to sideline, because that's where we were weak. We got to see if we have that speed, but also too, because remember, Derek Barnes last year, you know, coming out of college, was supposed to be one of these new age linebackers. So we could have something there. So really, because that to me is because it's the bend and don't break defense. I know that Aaron Glenn's preaching the violence, and I love that run to the ball. But to me, it's more so, if anything, it's the speed of our linebacking crew.
And Mike G says in the chat, he actually asked you a question, which I kind of want to hear the answer to. D-Mac, what coach for you, past or present, reminds you of Aaron Glenn, a guy you'd run through a wall for? Do you have any former coaches that, you know every time they speak, you're like, I'm going?
The close is a Daryl Sutter in Calgary. He's the coach now. He coached me in Calgary when I played there for my first year. He went on to win cups in LA. He's that old school cowboy mentality. It's more like if you're a fan of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Right? He's sort of like Kevin Costner's character in Yellowstone. Just like the no BS, can talk to him, but at the end of the day,
I'll tell you like it is.
Tell it like it is,
Yeah.
and sort of maybe challenge your manhood a little bit. Right? So some of us don't mind that but he knows how to, again, it's a psychology. At the end of the day, what makes great coaches is being able to connect with their players. And you can't connect with all your players the same way. So that's what it is. How can he get that dog out and everybody else? But Daryl Sutter was a guy that you'd play hard for. Like, Scotty did it differently. See, Scotty was the same psychologist, but he did it us against him. Right? So it was all of us going, screw that old man. He doesn't know anything. I mean, what's he ever won?
No, but it is. It's about connecting with your players. And I think that's why I agree with Sam. I would say Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, I'm most excited for. Ben Johnson specifically, because I do have a history with Ben Johnson. When I was on the morning show, when he first got promoted, this is the guy I wanted as the OC right off the bat in October. So the fact that he's here now and he's in the position, it's the biggest, obviously the promotion, the biggest one of his career. And it's not even just the Lions. Like, guys like Zach Taylor say good things about Ben Johnson. I think he's more widely regarded as a new up-and-coming, innovative offensive coordinator. So that's the guy I'm most excited for. But I got to admit, guys, like, I wouldn't hesitate. If we can just get all of Dan Campbell's pressers and Hard Knocks onto a CD, can I just purchase that and play it every morning on my way to work? I mean, I need that type of energy every single day. But yeah, it had to be Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn. What about you, Spetty?
Yeah, I'm. It's pretty wild. Like, I'm listening to what you guys are saying. I'm looking in the chat. We got people talking. Big Play Jay says Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Sheila Ford. Joey says I want to see Sheila. I think he's kind of joking. Mike G said Aaron Glenn. Like, the coaches are such a hot commodity that it's awesome to see. But obviously, I can take the easy way out and say my boy Malcolm, see him get some shine. He's been running with the ones, but Jamal Williams, man, dude, he's a personality. The guy's electric. He is built for camera. Like, I think he's going to be great, and I'm excited to see Amon-Ra, because he has been leading that wide receiver group. He has been going first into all the drills, talking to all of them, being that vocal leader out there. Even though we'll get to it in the next segment, DJ Chark has been tearing it up out there, but Amon-Ra has been leading that group. So I'm excited to see him. They've had the boom mic in the huddle a lot with the wide receivers, so I think they're going to feature him quite a bit.
And this is why I'm so excited for Hard Knocks 2, is because it gives us a chance to see players on the inside. Like, we see Amon-Ra, we see how well he plays, but people don't see the leadership. People don't see those small things that Hard Knocks will allow you to see. Like, we see Jamal Williams on camera. He's entertaining, but seeing Hard Knocks, you'll see the things that they don't put in the public, and that's what I'm most excited for as well.
That's a great, right there, Juicy. They're going to show you the things that you don't know, or that it's always out there, right? Because the camera's always on, but you don't get to choose. I'm going to do an interview. I got to be on my best behavior. All right, D-Mac, don't swear. Try not to, think your thoughts out. Don't tell them how you really feel about this person. Just, I'm going to show you that, right? You got to go through it. It's always on. The emotions of training camp. In the huddle or the games going on, I refer this back to when you win Stanley Cups and they have the tape that the league follows you around for your playoff run, and at the end of it they play, here's you in the series and you were down 3-2 in Phoenix and there's the bus ride. And, stuff like that, the nostalgia, which is going to go back. But you're in the heat of it, they're around, you could give us, you don't care. And half the time, it's like sometimes, watch this little secret, and here's D-Mac tidbit number 1, is when you're watching. If somebody goes off on a tangent, like where you go, wait, why did he do that? And then they had to beep him out or whatever else, it's because he stepped himself into somewhere, right? He's got himself into saying something that he's got to blow it out of proportion. So they forget about it, so they don't. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Right? So a lot of times, but guys don't care. When they're on the field, when that ball's in play, when that puck's on the ice, they don't care. But you're going to see, because then you can't hide, right? What we're going to see as same old Lions fans is if it's the same old way. Because you can't hide that. And it's the same things that we're talking about is why you want that Dan Campbell motivational drive to work. tape made for you, right? Because it's the continuation of what you're seeing, and we will see it. Maybe not all of it week 1, but by the end of it, we're going to be able to talk about going, wow, I didn't know this about him. I didn't know this about him.
Yeah. It's all raw, and that's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to.
Look, it's all raw, baby.
Look, it's all raw.
It's all raw, baby.
Perfect timing. And I think another person I can add to that list, Jared Goff. Like a guy that, has spoke recently, went on the Pivot podcast with Ryan Clark and the boys and discussed how he wants to be a better leader in Detroit. And I think doing so, you're going to see on Hard Knocks, you're going to see behind the scenes, you're going to see how he leads the huddle, because you see what Amon-Ra does with the receivers, but I want to see Jared Goff in the huddle. So Jared's up there for me as well. I know this year's a big year for him with a lot of talent around him. And like you just hit on, D-Mac, like you can run, but you can't hide from those cameras. They'll be there.
Just remember, if you just there's a camera on you at all time.
Oh yeah.
Right? Enemy of the State, Will Smith, 25 years ago.
It's always there.
It's always there. So just pretend it is. But it'll be good. And I think that it's the perfect timing. We said this all along, right? It's the perfect timing. I thought I wanted this last year. Absolutely not. I want this now. I want every serving. This is like the greatest Thanksgiving dinner you're going to ever eat.
Yeah, you know what I want now? Some Gypsy vodka. The Mulligan. Specifically, because let me tell you about the official drink of the summer. Because the Mulligan made with Gypsy Vodka, you're out golfing on the course, you're hanging in the backyard. The Mulligan is calling your name. Ask for the Mulligan at your local golf course or at a Total Wine near you.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Summer salads, and dip shakes. All at Big Boy. Try a chicken club, chicken cordon bleu, or sunrise ham and cheddar. All on our grilled ciabatta bread. Or keep it light with our Michigan apple, chicken Caesar, or Greek salad. And don't forget to cool off with a frosty hand-dipped cookies and cream or strawberry shake. You heard it here first. Summer just got better.
It is Jeff Iafrate, and I'm going to tell you about our friends at Chili Peppers Tanning, because you can join the Pepper Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. You'll get all of the best deals, plus they will beat out all competitors by $5. Chili Peppers has the hottest bulbs, hottest deals, and darkest tans. 26 locations and more on the way.
Chili Peppers Tan.
Thank you, Spenny. We're back. Big D Energy on this wonderful Monday.
We need fish.
Yeah.
We need the fish.
Where's the fish drop?
We need the fish ad lib. And today, we're discussing a lot of things. Lions, Pistons, Red Wings. But now we're going to stay on the Lions, because we do got to talk about someone that Spenny mentioned last topic, and that was DJ Chark, a guy that I've been seeing a lot on social media, tearing up training camp, a guy that I have high expectations for, a former Pro Bowler out of Jacksonville. I know he struggled to stay healthy his last year in Jacksonville, but he has a big opportunity this year with the Detroit Lions. I mean, look at this. For our radio listeners, this is playing a catch right now by DJ Chark, contested catch. And he has all the tools, D-Mac. I mean, this is a guy that can open up the playbook for the Detroit Lions. And the throw by?
No, what about the throw?
It was you cannot. Okay, that, you know what? That's a great point, because
Come
people
on,
they
man,
talk about the catch. What about the throw? What about the throw?
No, I mean, a great catch, but is this not what we want to see?
Absolutely.
Coming out of camp right now, okay, you got Jameson Williams out there, involved, walking around. I haven't seen him put the football down yet, right? That's a him thing. Yeah. That's a dude thing. That's my guy's love for the game or being a part of it, whatever it is, him showing his commitment. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown establishing the leadership. You're not only, and back to the Hard Knocks, we'll get to see how vocal or whatever else, but to establish the leadership as the possession guy, what he did at the end of the season under Ben Johnson, stuff like this. And then DJ Chark, boom, speed over the top, letting Goff drop it in. What you're getting now with Will, there's nobody fighting for a football.
Right.
Right? Like on levels. on different levels, right? Because you got the tight end, you got Hawkinson, or out of the backfield for the short passes. Amon-Ra St. Brown for the short to medium. Chark go deep. I'll drop you one in there. Which does anybody else? I mentioned the throw because what's the one thing that has been holding Goff back or whatever is that he takes a check down. He doesn't throw it out there. Now, wow, if he's getting the confidence to do that because he's got receivers that can get down there, plus your first rounder and the burner isn't out there yet. So what I'm seeing is the perfect storm because establishing Amon-Ra St. Brown as your number one guy, right? To the leader, to the fact. And what I mean by your number one guy, maybe it is stats-wise, maybe it's not, but your number one guy leadership-wise, right? You're Steve Smith. You're Hines Ward. Your guy that's, when you think of the wide receiver group, you think the epitome, you will say the backbone of this team. Now, right, they'll figure out we're getting Goff confidence throwing down the field so he's not.
He can trust guys. Yeah.
That's the thing. He's only going to get another Ferrari out of the garage when it's fixed and Williams. So you know what? Then we can see if he's more comfortable. That one went to the right. Maybe Williams will go to the left. We got the intermediate right now. I think that it goes what you're going to be willing to look for tomorrow night too. Do you see more confidence and the Detroit Lions and Ben Johnson pushing Jared Goff to gain confidence downfield because he can trust that his guys are going to go make those catches?
That's it right there. It's about trust. And Jared Goff last year didn't have consistency at the wide receiver position. He had Amon-Ra St. Brown, which, again, I would even argue, and this is my opinion, and I know I would assume some of you would agree. If you don't, chime in. I think the Lions have the deepest wide receiver core in the NFC North. I think in terms of depth, any team that has Justin Jefferson, you could say they're the best because Justin Jefferson's like one of the best receivers in the league, no doubt about it. But this Lions receiving core, and you kind of hit on it, D-Mac, like from top to bottom, you have that's why I don't like the whole wide receiver A and B, 1 and 2, because there's like 3 or 4 guys you can put on that field.
I look at it like where are guys catching the ball on the field, right? So Swift's got to get it out of the backfield within the 5 yards, right? Okay. Amon-Ra St. Brown can go for that little out. He can go up, take it 10, do whatever. The intermediate routes and the short routes, right? I've looked at him more. Hawkinson, same thing. The middle, opens up the middle. Then you got depth. But you have guys that can catch it at different levels. When you have different levels, that's a different threat, right? And plus, guys, when's the last time we've had like a burner to go for a Hail Mary or just to send out, like to the legitimacy, but let alone gonna have a couple.
Yeah.
So when I'm saying that, you just put more horsepower in my car. I may never have driven over 70 miles an hour in my life, but that's because I didn't have the ability.
Bingo.
Now
Absolutely.
You give me the ability, whether I do or not. I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not, but it looks like we're gonna try. And that's what, you know what? That's what the manufacturer wants. Dude, get rid of the Buick. Get rid of the Ferrari. Let's go.
Yep, fire it up.
But do you see that as the talent gets better on the offense and be able to catch, that's going to give Goff confidence. So if Goff, if we see in Hard Knocks 2 this humble confidence of Jared Goff come across, like that leadership, that's his leadership. He's not going to be the man with a lot of words. He's going to always say the right thing and be there, but you're going to be able to vibe it, right? And then his words are going to come out through Williams' mouth and come out through Ross St. Brown's mouth and stuff like this, but you will feel it along the lines. And I'm not making, this isn't the player, but this is the leadership wise of, you didn't really hear Steve Yzerman talk a lot. Right? He let his play speak for himself and throughout everybody else. There'd be other guys that would talk, and then when he did, it was always the business. But you'll be able to see it. There's a lot of things to be excited for.
And Steve Brown makes a good point in the chat. I said this earlier. My buddy, who is a Packers fan, said straight out the Lions have a better wide receiver corp than the Packers, and he's a pretty diehard Packers
100%.
fan.
How could they not when they lost Devontae Adams?
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably the easier team, but I want to get both of your guys' opinion. Am I crazy? The Lions got the deepest wide receiver core in the NFC North.
Oh, the deepest, absolutely. I understand that at the top end, the Vikings have Justin Jefferson, but afterwards you got Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne. But with the Lions, you have guys like Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Quintez Cephas, Josh Reynolds, even Khalif Raymond, and as a tight end, TJ Hawkinson and DJ Chark. And DJ Chark his importance to this team, or his potential importance, cannot be overstated. I know those are just plays in practice, but I didn't see that element last year at all. Like with Jared Goff throwing the ball down the field and DJ Chark just kind of high pointing the ball and making those catches. And DJ Chark in 2019, he had an 1,000-yard season.
He did.
With Gardner Minshew as his quarterback. And even last year when he got injured,
great stash.
Through 4 games, he only had 7 catches, but it was for 154 yards and 2 touchdowns, which tells me that he has a big play ability that he has shown, and I hope he can put that to use with the Lions. I hope he can be that big play wide receiver, because he has shown that he can do it.
Absolutely. What about you, Spenny? What do you think?
I think it's close. I do think it's close. I think the Vikings wide receiver core is close because obviously they have the top of the top with Justin Jefferson. Adam Thielen is no slouch either. KJ Osborne went out there when Adam Thielen was down last year and showed that he can be a legitimate wide receiving threat in this league. And they added my guy Speedy Naylor out of Michigan State, who I think can come in there and make some plays down the field. So they're close. They're very close. I think, with the height of Justin Jefferson, it makes it even closer because he is leagues above any other receiver in this division. So I think it's close. We might have the deepest 1 through 5 or 1 through 6 or something like that, whatever you want to say. But the Vikings don't have, they're nothing to laugh at either. They got a pretty deep wide receiver room as well.
Yeah, and Lewis said, he says in the chat, he really had talking about Goff, he really had no weapons going into the season until he got Josh Reynolds, and then midway, St. Brown started to shine. Goff will start off hot this time. And that's kind of the point we're hitting on. It's you could talk about where you rank the Lions in the NFC North with their wide receiver core, but the bottom line, no pun intended, is they have weapons. And Jared Goff has every tool in this toolbox in order to succeed. And that's the biggest thing with Jared is, yes, he's a middle-of-the-pack quarterback. Yes, he's a bridge quarterback. But if you surround him with talent, he can win you games. And that's really all the Lions need right now, D-Mac, is just something to keep you afloat. Can you keep this ship afloat? And I think Jared can do that with these weapons.
Absolutely, and he's going to get the opportunity. So we're going to see, right, if he has. And I think that the potential to be better. He's not the same quarterback he was in L.A.
You grow.
We saw it. You would hope.
You'd hope.
I mean, you know what? That's
what is he, 27 years old right now?
Still young.
Yeah.
But the one thing is, going back to Chark, being in Jacksonville and having some injury, I don't think the motivation to get back in and play on that team last year, I think that getting healthy was more important, and hopefully we are the benefactors of that this year. So it's almost like he hasn't played, in parts of a year, and for a guy like that with a lot of speed, you hope that plays out. Yeah. So I like it. It's all coming into place. Now it's about execution. So at least good or bad, when you have the talent around, if you get it done, you know what you have. If you don't get it done, you know what you have.
And we're coming into the last season of D-Mac's clock.
That's it, man. And all the teams are going to get put on it and stuff like this. And I like where this clock's at. And there's so many questions. Clock. There's 17 games left, but there's like 17 questions to be answered. But we're going to get answers. That's the best part about having a clock running it out. We'll be able to have a conversation at the end of next year. Where are we? Do you not feel like we will know where we're at?
Absolutely.
At the end of next year, and be able to pull it back after this, training camp and this year, and see how everything goes with these weapons and stuff like that. So, I'm excited. I like. I think I said the clock correct.
No, the clock is perfect. And I think a lot of that, you'll know what you have in Jared. You'll know what you have in these wide receivers. You'll know, a lot of things. TJ Hockenson, you're eventually going to have to sign him. I know, Neil's a big cap guy. That's something the Lions are going to have to take into consideration with TJ's future. But on top of everything with this offense, because we are discussing DJ Chark, to tie it all together, it's really Ben Johnson. Like, to see how he... what it looked like with Ben Johnson to end the season, and a guy that, Jared Goff down the stretch, 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So he played pretty good down the stretch. And that was before DJ. That was before TJ got healthy. That was, before Frank Ragnow wasn't there still. So a lot of things to be excited about. And I think this season you're going to have an answer definitely on Jared Goff, because this is a good season to really measure him. And I know you guys on the heavyweights, you talked about Jared. Easy got pretty heated. I know, I was there, I was tuning in, and
that was, yeah.
I know, like, how big of a season is this for Jared Spenny? Like, how this is, I would argue almost, maybe you could say it's a make or break, but for sure, if he comes out and they don't play well and they don't win a lot of games, what are you thinking about Jared? Because I know you're not a big Jared guy, but on top of that.
This is an insanely huge season for Jared Goff. I mean, not in my mind, because I already know what he is.
Yeah, you're sold on
But
it. Yeah.
in the minds of not only the Lions franchise, but the rest of the NFL, like he's playing for a starting spot in the rest of his career. Like
Right.
if he goes out there and he does what he did in the beginning of the year last year, it's not going to look great, and he's not going to probably get another big contract after this one. But if he goes out there and he puts up numbers like he did in the last 4 or 5 games, then people will look at that. People will see that. Maybe he becomes trade worthy for the Lions to move to somebody. Maybe he earned himself a new contract somewhere else. So it's a very important season from him, especially because he's got like $32 million sitting on the table.
That's it right
so
there.
So the guy does not want it. If you mess up, you get cut. You lose $32 million, and you probably won't be getting paid that much annually ever again. But I expect him to come out there and succeed and earn that contract. I expect him to do well for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And Eluded Corp says in the chat, this season dictates whether Goff, and to your point, Spenny, Goff or not will go to another team again. Like if he'll ever have a job. I think he'll have a job.
Yeah.
But it's really about being a starter, a contributor to a playoff team. That's what I'm looking at with Jared.
Where's Jared Goff? Between 15 and 20?
Yeah, that's where I put him.
15 and 20.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't like him, between 20 and 25. So if he makes his way and plays where he's in the conversation to be between 10 and 15, which puts him in the top half of the quarterbacks with the talent around him, should be able to win. This is a big year for him, for his future, but he's the type of guy that's going to find a job. It's just the money that you're going to have to pay.
That's it.
So here's the one thing. I hope he's successful as hell. We see something moving forward, and we commit the dollars to him like every other Super Bowl championship team seems to do. Right? Spend the money properly. It's not about not spending the money. It's spending it properly and having that culture and that foundation. And that's the beauty. You'll find out at the end, whether you like him or not, he's the guy. This is Brad Holmes' guy and Dan Campbell's guy right now.
And let me tell you about our friends quickly, our guys from the SMA, the sports marketing agency. They help spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the F Word, helps spread awareness on fentanyl and other addictions. Please go to thesportsma.com if you're struggling or know someone who is. We'll be right back.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Detroit's downtown summer playground is back. Open all summer long, the Monroe Street Midway. Enjoy roller skating, free Wi-Fi, food trucks, art installations, and so much more. Don't forget to take advantage of the basketball court, putt-putt, and, of course, family programming all summer long. All art installations are done by Detroit artists, and it's a fun, safe event from people 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's Spencer for the Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck. You know, you've heard of it. It's the home of the original football bowling pin game called Fulling. Multiple different ways you can play. They've got $12 open unlimited play. You can stay there open until close. Have a good time. They also have private lane reservation, $120, 10 to 12 people. You get your own lane. You can bring in any type of food you want. And if you get thirsty, they have a $2 mystery beer vending machine. Pop in $2, pops out a good beer. No hassle, no fuss needed. Know what you want to make a decision. They have multiple fully loaded bars for you to choose from. So come on down to Hamtramck. Check them out in person at the Fulling Warehouse or visit them online at fullingwarehouse.com. Again, that is fullingwarehouse.com.
Welcome back. Big D Energy, Jeff Iafrate filling in for the real deal, Neil Rule. I got my partner in crime for the week, D-Mac, 4-time Stanley Cup champion, and I got an important question, a really difficult question to ask, because when Spencer, proposed this question on the prep sheet, I looked at it and I stared at it for about an hour. And I didn't know what to choose. And Spencer, I want you to make a poll too, because we want to go to the chat for this as well.
Got you.
We want to get their opinion. But before I give my answer, I do want to defer to my guy D-Mac. And I want to ask you this question first so people can hear it. What is more realistic? Amon-Ra St. Brown getting 1,000 yards receiving or DeAndre Swift rushing for 1,000 yards?
Well, I did not wrestle with this question
tough one.
As hard as you did. No, this was pretty easy for me. And it comes down to, do I believe in the durability and availability of DeAndre Swift? No. So I don't think he'll be available to get 1,000 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown on the other end, I do. I think that 1,000 yards is probably 1,200 if this team's going to be successful in the leadership coming out of there. So looking at it straight, not that DeAndre Swift isn't capable of it, I just don't think the availability will be there. Yep. So if you're asking me which is more important to the team's success, they'll have a better record if DeAndre Swift has 1,000 yards than if Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? Because to me, if DeAndre Swift is healthy as 1,000 yards, yes, so Amon-Ra St. Brown could still get 1,000 yards receiving. Mm-hmm. But that just makes the versatility. To me here, it's Amon-Ra St. Brown strictly on the fact that the availability of DeAndre Swift for 12 games this year, 14 games, will be too tough for him to get 1,000.
You hit it right on the head, actually, because that's what I ended up settling down on, is like, I have two things I'm fighting against. One, I believe in this offensive line. I feel like anybody running behind this group is going to do well. But, you got to have the but. It's the health. And that's what drawed me away. I'm choosing Amon-Ra St. Brown because the guy basically got 1,000 his rookie year, playing with little to no talent around him. And even that, he'll be even better. Like, that's something Ben Johnson's been discussing too. Like, Amon-Ra has done nothing but improve this offseason. So I'm going to go with Amon-Ra too. I think with DeAndre, and Terry kind of mentioned this on the morning show today too, like, the league isn't really you don't have a one back. You have a 1A and a 1B. And I feel like this year, Jamal, Craig Reynolds, who knows, maybe Jamar if he ends up on the roster.
Craig.
There's going to be, come on, Craig. There's going to be other guys that are going to have opportunities. So I love DeAndre. I think if you want to ask the question, could he get 1,000, 1,500 yards from scrimmage? Maybe I could slide that answer. But no, I'm going with Amon-Ra. But I do want to take it to you, Sam Flannel. What do you think? What's more likely?
So first off, they're both going to get 1,000 yards.
Oh!
That's my bold prediction. But if I had to choose one,
Flannel from the top row.
1,000, Rod 1,000, Hutchinson at 12 sacks.
Keep going, D-Mac.
What else we got in this? Are we Super Bowl bound?
I think so.
What's going on over there, Legend Killer? Keep going. You're on a roll.
Yeah, keep going, Sam.
That's all for my predictions. But I'm going to go with DeAndre Swift is more likely because of this. DeAndre Swift is going to get every opportunity to be the number one back if he stays healthy running behind that offensive line. All Jamal Williams is, I know we like him, is a number two back. And guys like Craig Reynolds and Jamar Jefferson, I believe they are replacement level running backs that can run through gaping holes and get you a fluke 100-yard game, but that's it. And when it comes to Amon-Ra St. Brown, I believe he might be the victim of there only being one ball. We mentioned in the last segment how deep this wide receiver core is. I think there's going to be games where Amon-Ra St. Brown might only get 4 or 5 targets, and TJ Hawkinson or DJ Chark and Jamison Williams might take their turn going off. So with the opportunities available, and of course, this is all dependent on health with DeAndre Swift because I cannot argue that. But if he stays healthy, it is DeAndre Swift. He will get 1,000 yards.
And I think, too, what also pushed me in Amon-Ra St. Brown's direction is when he gets targeted, he catches it. Like, he doesn't drop balls. So that's another thing that I had to take into consideration. Like, even if he gets less targets, he's going to be just as efficient. But I do want to ask you, Spenny, now that you asked the question, what's your answer, my man?
Yeah, this is tough. It's tough. I'm going to agree with you guys, though, with the DeAndre Swift health factor. I think that plays a role into it. Even though this team wants to be a rush-first team, they have that offensive line, I'm going to go with Amon-Ra because I think Amon-Ra, like you said, last year he was at like 905 yards or something like that at the end of the year. He didn't even play the first couple weeks of the season. He wasn't really involved in the offense until week 5. So I think he's going to be Goff's security blanket. I think he's going to get the same consistent amount of looks every week because he is going to be running those intermediate routes. He's going to be the guy that already has that rapport with Jared Goff, so that adds up. And Yeah, I think he's going to come out there, and I have him at like 1,100 yards. I think we did that on the heavyweights on Friday, was listing who we think will have the most yards, and I think I said Amon-Ra with about 1,100. So I'm going to go with him because I do think, and like you said, Jeff, he was the only player in the NFL last year with 70 or more receptions and a 0% drop rate. So that guy, he doesn't let that thing that's, like I said it on heavyweights, we're used to, granite hands Eric Ebron and stone hands Brandon Pettigrew, and now we have silk hands Amon-Ra St. Brown, who catches everything. So I think that's going to play a lot into it, and I expect him to have a big year.
And with Amon-Ra, listen, to quote Neil, you got to show us, like Rick Ross. And I think with Amon-Ra, this is a guy who his biggest question mark, D-Mac, last year was yards after catch. He could catch balls, but going and taking them another 10, 15 yards, that's what Ben Johnson said he's working on. Like, he wants to take, not just, get a catch, but take it another 15, 20 yards. And I think this year, he had 900 last year by just falling down. So if he can, open up that part of his game, 1,000 is just, that's easy money.
Well, you got to look at him and you say who is his parallel that you want him to be like, and it's a Cooper Kupp, right?
Absolutely.
So what is Cooper Kupp's advantage? Not only running those routes, but getting that ball and getting a few extra yards. I think the most important thing is the fact that I don't care how many yards after the catch he gets, as long as he makes the catch. Right? So that in the first year, and I know Mark Walston in the chat I think he is like disheveled because him and the Legend Killer are on the same page. But I wouldn't worry. He had a little bit of a concern about Amon-Ra going into his second year and other teams having a year on him. Not in this NFL, because the rules are set up for release and for guys to get away and for guys to catch the ball in this league, right? Not to defend like it used to be in the past. I think it's a great question, except for the way that it's officiated these days. So, you'd look to see that. So if 900 yards last year, 700 of them, like if 150, because if he doesn't have to the ground, so 750 are air yards and 150 are ground yards. If he can double that, double that as far as his ground yards, and he's progressing. And the fact that his offensive coordinator comes out and tells, he's working on that, then he's aware of it. Self-awareness, man.
Absolutely.
That's where it's at. And I think that's the number one key right now going into Hard Knocks tomorrow night in training camp of whatever that is. I'm hearing, why is it not the same old lines? Because I hear self-awareness.
That's it.
From the top on the way down to everything else, there is self-awareness. They found a mirror in Allen Park. Thank God Dan Campbell introduced them. Brad Holmes introduced them to a mirror so they could look at themselves. Self-aware. Down to what they need to do as players, to what they need to do to execute on the field, to getting better. Hence, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Ben Johnson talking about yards after catch.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lewis made a great point as well. Didn't St. Brown get over 900 yards basically through the last 12 games of the season?
Yep.
He wasn't really targeted the first few games. That's another little nugget for you, too. Sam Flannel, is there anything going on? You're kind of changing your mind a little bit, or are you still holding on with DeAndre?
Well, my first prediction was they will both get it. But
okay, listen. All right.
Well, I forgot 5,500.
So if we got, and I want to hear Sam answer this. We got 1,000 from DeAndre, 1,000 from Amon-Ra St. Brown, and we got Aiden Hutchinson getting how many sacks? 14?
12.
12. Okay, we'll stay there. I thought you were going to say break the record. I was trying to up it a little bit, D-Max.
I like what you did there, bro.
But you know what, Sam? I don't know. I don't know how you got that approach, my man.
I mean,
I wasn't here for the show you said those predictions, so please explain to me, because I know people were talking about it in the chat as well. Like, why 12 sacks?
12,
what makes you feel like that?
Well, it's because I believe in Aiden Hutchinson. I believe he is an amazing prospect.
Fan.
Yes, I saw him get 3 sacks and 15 quarterback pressures against Ohio State, but it was the totality of the season. And I think he was pretty universally regarded as the best prospect in the draft, and the Lions got him. And he is fulfilling a need. Their best pass rusher last year was Charles Harris. He only had 7.5. But what Aiden Hutchinson will walk in and become is their best pass rusher on day one. And I got that belief in him. I believe his measurables were fantastic. His tape was fantastic. And going against, and especially in a 17-game season, I don't think 12 sacks is outside the realm of possibility, especially if a guy like Aleem McNeil can kind of clog up some defenders in the middle.
You know what? No, and you know what?
Sam's got the reasons.
No, I like it, and he always does. He backs it up. But what just came to my mind, right when we're talking about Hard Knocks and everything, nobody brought up Aiden Hutchinson. Is anybody excited to see him, or are we just sort of like he's...
Everyone's just accepting it. Like, yeah, he's here.
No. Like, that's...
No, you're right.
No,
you're right.
He's here. He's doing the work. We all... I see in the chat thread, he's going to have 9 sacks. He's going to be an integral part. What Sam said is he's the best pass rusher on the team right now. We just got to see what he's going to execute. But obviously it just... We didn't bring his name up when we talked the whole first hour about Hard Knocks and whatever else. And, to me, that's a good thing, right? Because it's sort of like it's like, yeah, D-Mac, we know he's good. He's going to be blue collar. He's everything we got. So what else do we got? We're not sure on this guy, not sure on this guy. So
you know what you're getting out of Aiden.
I think that tells, as a fan base, because people aren't usually saying, I got to see what this first rounder can do. We pretty much know what he can do because, to Sam's point, not just what he did against Ohio State, because I don't know if you know this or not, they don't play in the NFL, but what he did over his career and what he did over the last season. You know what I'm saying? So that's a different feeling.
Yeah.
That's not same old lines.
No, it
right?
isn't.
So
it is not. And another thing I'm looking forward to with Aiden, to your point, is the leadership ability. To kind of go back to Amon St. Brown, like, this is a guy who's a rookie, who's already in training camp leading a lot of these veterans. Like, and it's not just his work ethic, it's his approach, it's his command on the field. Like, I've seen clips already of Aiden, and I'm excited to see him. But you know what else I'm excited to see? I got to hear about my friends about Lady Jane's.
Well, you know why, Juicy, and why wouldn't you be with that?
You got to get the hair taken.
Unbelievable mop top over there, and you can get into Lady Jane's. That's where he gets it taken care of. So you can come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience. But you can also register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win the car of your dreams from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, no appointment necessary. It's wicked awesome. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports. Be right back.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Let me tell you about our friends from Odds Trader. OddsTrader.com is the #1 site for your game day bets, play-by-play updates, live scores, and the best price on every game for multiple sports books. Please go to the OddsTrader.com right now for your best bet. Welcome back to Big D Energy. I am filling in. Jeff Iafrate filling in for Neil Rule. He will be back. He's out this week. He's on vacay. I think he's at the Mets game today, so shout out to Neil Rule. Hope you're having fun, my man. But today, I'm holding it down. And also, we're discussing Lions, football, and I got to get into it. Another great topic on the sheet is about the Lions in their first 4 games of the season. Listen, we can go through this, and I'll kind of get a vote around. I'm going to go in the chat as well, so if you're listening, please chime in as we go through the schedule. But to open it up, the Lions face the Eagles, and this is one that I am very scared of, by the way. The Eagles are a damn good team. They're a playoff team. They got significantly better. I know people are wishy-washy on Jalen Hurts. I like Jalen Hurts. I think this year is a big year for him to prove to be a starting playoff caliber quarterback, because last year they did make the playoffs, but we'll see this year with the Eagles. But I do, before we go into it, I'm going to go to the chat. In the chat, when I say this game, I'm going to say it's the Eagles at Ford Field. You guys put a W or you put an L. And we're going to go, and I want to see what the people think. You can even do a poll if you want to, Spence, to make it a little easier. But we'll start with this first game. They face the Eagles at home. Energy will be high at Ford Field. I know it'll be a packed house. People are going to be excited. It'll be a big game. I hope to be down there. I know Woodward Sports will be down there. But before I give my answer, D-Mac, what's the feeling like, man? The Eagles visit Ford Field. What's your prediction week 1 against the Eagles? What do you think
nobody's
happens?
taking anything for granted. I think that's a tough competition. I think don't you think that blackboard material for the Detroit Lions will be the drubbing they took last year at the hands of the Philadelphia Eagles? So that'll sit fresh in the craw. Obviously, it's going to be a tough task, but maybe if things are different, boys will be ready to play. I got them as a win, week 1.
Ooh.
I do. I really do. I went over this. This is a difference. If you looked at my predictions for the season, I got them at 8 and 9.
And I agree with you, by the way.
This is one of the toss-ups. And if I'm thinking right now what everything's coming out, I think it's going to come off to a good start. Close game, and you know, I could be wrong, but I think this is the one, because there's certain things that I've found that let you know things are a little bit different. And even though they might not win, I expect a lot more competitive game. But I do think that this, you know, and hear me out. To get 8 and 9, you'd say, well, you start out the season with the win at home, but it also puts the rest of the league on alert that we're not a joke.
Absolutely.
Right? So first week of the season with Hard Knocks, you're not going to sneak up on anybody, but I think this is a test that they want. So maybe it's a little bit... I'm not 100% confident on it.
Right.
I don't know if I bet it right now, but I'm going to go in my heart of hearts. I think we win this game. I think it's like I'm big into moments, right? You know,
absolutely.
As far as, and this starts off the new not the new regime, but this team. Right, in a good way.
No,
so
absolutely.
I got him as a win.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at how big of a game this is, too, it's the ability you could set the tone. If you beat a team like the Eagles week 1, and then they have the Commanders week 2, which we'll get into it in a second, I think, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say it's a blowout. I think it'll be a good game, especially now early in the season. The Lions will come to play. You saw last year they got picked apart by the 49ers, but they clawed back late in the game and at least tried to make it a game. But I do want to ask you, Sam Flannel, what do you think, man, week 1 against the Eagles? What happens?
I think the Lions lose that game, and it's just because
Dan Campbell.
The Eagles are just they're a good football team. They were good last year. They were a playoff team. They beat the crap out of the Lions at Ford Field, and they got better, although the Lions did too. But this Eagles team is loaded. They drafted well. They got a guy like Jordan Davis. They got a guy like A.J. Brown. They have defensive linemen like Javon Hargrave and Josh Sweat. Their offensive line might be better than the Lions. So just by a pure them being the better team, the Eagles will win, but the Lions will keep it close.
Either way, you're getting a good press conference afterwards from both those head coaches. But I do want to ask you, Spencer, week 1, I know you guys probably have covered a little bit on heavyweights, but what's your opinion, man? What are you feeling?
Yeah, I got an L for the Lions in week 1. Like, for all the points that Sam said, you know, they obviously put up a 40 spot on us last year, got better. It's going to be a tough team. They're well coached. They have, I agree with Sam, probably even a better offensive line than we do. They have more solidified pros on this team than I think we're hoping a lot of these rookies, like we're hoping Aiden Hutchinson can be that big rookie. We're hoping, you know, obviously J-Mo probably won't play in this game, but when he comes back, he can be that big rookie. So I'm going to go with the Eagles in this one. It's tough, but they're a good team. Like we said, they're a playoff team, and yeah, I'm going to go with them.
You know what's crazy, too, and I kind of expected it to be close, but right now in the YouTube chat poll, it is close. It's 60% say the Lions win, 40% say it's a loss. And I'm curious to see, like, and I'm not coming at anybody. I'm not going to say you're wrong for choosing they win, but, like, what would be the reasoning? What would have to happen? Is it more so Jalen Hurts or the lack of trust with Jalen Hurts? Because the Eagles, as a complete team, Sam and Spencer hit on it. Like, they got dudes. And I know the Lions got talent too. But D-Mac, you got 60% of the chat agreeing with you. So you're not too far off, man. I think it's more of a toss-up than people think.
No, it's a tough one. I think, you know, maybe be reaching and stuff like that, but that's what it goes down to me. I'm not sold on Jalen Hurts. I'm not a Jalen Hurts fan. So, hopefully we stay healthy, and you know, you want to set the tone. You know, a lot of people would say that, you know, maybe you want easier schedule to start off. No, I think Dan Campbell wants this. Let's go. Let's fight right off the bat. I want to fight.
I love it.
Let's go. Let's fight.
And then I want to go to week 2. So far, we'll go with the chat. We'll say they're 1-0. They think they're going to win. Week 2, you got the Commanders. They are at Ford Field once again. And I want to get the chat. I'm going to go around the room in a second. I think that's a win. And it kind of has to do with what D-Mac said about Jalen Hurts. I simply do not trust Carson Wentz. And I think also, you know, in terms of if you want to compare player by player to the Commanders to the Lions, I think you can make some arguments over a lot of guys. And I think they come out with a win. Even with my prediction, they lose week 1, and then week 2, they're starving. And they come back and they get revenge on the Commanders. D-Mac, what do you think? What do you think about the Commanders?
Yeah, no, I got this one as a win also, which is a little bit ahead of things along to the same reasons. I think it's to pull yourself away, too, to be in the conversation. You win this game, it's more important that all the eyes go to Dan Snyder in Washington about dysfunction and stuff like this, that you can really prove that you're moving in the right direction different ways. It's a home game, too.
That's it right there.
So to the fact that the worst, I would expect them to come out of the first 2 games 1-1.
Mm-hmm. And you said it. You mentioned it. Home game. They have 3 out of the first 4 games are at home at Ford Field. So they have that going for them. But I do want to go around the room. Sam Flannel. Actually, we'll start with Spenny because we went to Sam last time. Spencer, what do you think? Week 2 against the Commanders.
I got a dub for the Lions here against the Commanders. You know, I think the Commanders do have some good pieces on offense with like guys like Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin. They have some good pieces. But again, I'm with you. I can't really trust Carson Wentz. I don't think he is what he used to be. He had a good year last year in Indianapolis with the Colts, but I think that's partially because he had Jonathan Taylor in his backfield, who is a complete monster. So they are a very well-coached team with Ron Rivera, so you can't overlook them, like I saw someone say in the chat. But I do think the Lions outmatch them on at least the offensive side of the ball. So I expect the Lions to go out and get a dub with this week.
So, Sam, what do you think?
I think the Lions will win this game as well. I think it will be a must-win for them. They cannot start the season 0-2, and one of the reasons I can tangibly look to is I see the Commanders as one of their strengths being the defensive line, and I think the offensive line is going to be able to neutralize the Washington defensive line and, of course, the Carson Wentz factor. He has been an absolute disaster since his injury in 2017 when he was on his way to winning the MVP, including last year. He couldn't even get the team to the playoffs with Jonathan Taylor having that season. The Lions win this game, and they win it pretty handily.
And if we're going with the chat, they are now 2-0. Both the Eagles and the Commanders, they both voted for a victory. So we're going to move on to week 3. They got the Vikings at US Bank Stadium on the road. This one's tough for me because I'm very high on the Vikings. I think they're going to be them or the Packers contending for the winning the NFC North. And you travel on the road. It's early in the season. You got a new head coach with Kevin O'Connell. However you want to approach it, but I'm going to go with you, D-Mac, first, man. What do you think?
Well, I got them 2-1 coming out of the 3 games. This is a tough one. I think that everything... Yeah, and Minnesota, if this is the year that they're going to take over the North because there's a little bit of him and Han going on and what they have in Green Bay. They're not the dominant force. I think Minnesota, even with Kirk Cousins... They have the team. So this is going to be tough to go in there and win, and they're going to try to establish, you know, the dominance in the North early on. But I think this game, even though we lose, benefits us because we learn something about ourselves. You know, I think we're going to go down fighting. It could be, you know, last-second field goal or overtime game, but it's something that Dan Campbell's come out going, you know, these guys are supposed to be the best in the league, and we're right there. We're close. We're close.
I could already see the presser.
Right?
I could already see it. And also to our previous points about quarterbacks you can't trust, Kirk Cousins is a guy we can't necessarily trust. But I will say the Vikings as a complete roster, I mean, Dalvin Cook is that dude. Justin Jefferson is that dude.
But you keep everybody. You Sam mentioned Thielen, but Adam Thielen is
underrated.
Is underrated, dude. He's probably like the one guy, like the underrated guy that you take that you always forget. And Jefferson's phenomenal, but it's what Thielen does possession-wise, underneath, tough catches. You know, he's sort of, to me, he's a little bit more athletic, but he reminds me of Ed McCaffrey back in the day, what he did for, the Broncos, a possession guy like that. Sam, am I off with that? Or, he's tough. I think that people sleep on that. He makes catches when he needs to make catches.
Absolutely. So. Sam, what do you think, man? Week 3 now.
To me, he's their MVP. So, again, injuries-wise, we could be changing it, but I think we're 2-1 after 3.
2-1, I'll take it. What do you think, Sam?
I think the Lions lose this one, and one of the reasons is because Minnesota has traditionally been a house of horrors for the Lions. I believe that Justin Jefferson will absolutely go off, and then against a guy like Amani or Oruwariye, Justin Jefferson is just too good. And D-Mac, you mentioned Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen will be guarded by maybe a Jeff Okudah or an A.J. Parker, and I think he's the guy that when it's 3rd and 5, Kirk Cousins is just going to look for him. I think the Lions... I could see Kirk Cousins having a game where he throws 3 touchdown passes, 300 yards, 70% completion, and Justin Jefferson gets at least 100 yards on maybe 7 catches.
What do you think, Spencer?
Yeah, I got an L here too. I talked about their receiving core being almost as deep as the Lions with guys. Obviously Jefferson, you guys mentioned Thielen. KJ Osborne played well last year. You got Speedy Naylor coming in there trying to be a rookie to make some waves. I think this is the most complete roster in the NFC North for the Vikings. They have pretty much guys on every position at every level that can be dudes in the NFL. So I think, and I was at the game last year that we won against the Vikings, but watching that, Justin Jefferson show where he was just torching our secondary. Every play, the guy was wide open.
He was.
Literally every single play. He had 10 yards of separation on guys. So that scares me a lot. I do think that bringing in the new head coach O'Connell over Mike Zimmer will rejuvenate this team, and I think Justin Jefferson's going to go nuts, honestly.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Right now, if we're going with the Chet poll, they are 2-1. And for the last one, we do got to make this a speed run because we've got to get to break, but it's the Seattle Seahawks. I think everyone in this room could agree. It's a win. That's a dub. We probably don't even have to do a chat poll for it. No. So now they're 3-1 through 4 games. I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Feeling pretty good. I have them at 2-2, but yeah, still feeling
according to the chat.
According to the chat.
But if you get to, I think we'd all accept 2-2. I think they're coming out of those 2 games because you got the Washington game and the Seattle game where the Philly and the Minnesota. They could come as losses. We might change it, but 2-2 after 4 games.
And we got a real tough stretch in the next 4. You got Green Bay, Dallas, Buffalo. It doesn't get any easier. New England, it's
that locker room better be filled up with some energy drinks, Jeffrey. What would you recommend for the fellas?
I would recommend the delicious Cintron Energy because Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings. Cintron has combined all 3 of their delicious flavors into a limited edition 6-pack sampler box. Try Cintron's great tasting cranberry, classic, sugar-free, all in 1 pack. Pre-order your Cintron 6-pack sampler pack today at CintronWorld.com/Red Wings.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new Field House. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Holton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
All summer long, the Monroe Street Midway is open in downtown Detroit. Enjoy basketball, roller skating, mini golf, art, live music, food trucks, and more. A fun, safe event for everyone ages 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com for more info. Again, that is deckedoutdetroit.com.
I'm inside the Red Wings locker room here at Little Caesars Arena. I'm Daniela Bruce, and joining me today is the Red Wings general manager, Steve Yzerman. Steve, you're a busy man. We appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
The Red Wings roster now looks a little different after free agency opened on July 13th. In what ways do you expect this roster to improve next season?
Well, I think we'll be deeper in all areas. You know, with Ville Husso in net, a younger guy, took a major step in his career last year in St. Louis. I think on game-to-game basis with him in net, I expect to get quality starts and give our team a chance to win every night. Up front, the additions of Kopp, Kubalik, and Perron, give you 3 experienced NHL players. Just improves our top 9, or even our top 9. I'm not sure what the lines will be, but I think we have more depth up front. David Perron being a right shot winger gives us another right shot, which will be important for our power play. And then on the blue line, with all the additions on the blue line with Sherratt, Mata, Robert Hagg, unfortunately, Pysyk is injured. Potential of Simon Edvinsson making our team even, and even a couple of the younger players, the Swedes, whether it's Berggren, Soderblom, or whoever else. I think we have more depth from top to bottom in the lineup, and you need that through the course of a season.
You mentioned Pysyk's injury. Did you know that when you signed him during free agency?
It happened after.
It happened
immediately after, unfortunately.
Yeah. So Robert Hagg, you're expecting him to at least compete for a spot and kind of add that depth.
Yeah, he's an NHL D-man. Played in Philly bulk of his career so far. Then to Buffalo and was traded to Florida at the deadline last year. And just a solid defensive defenseman, and plays hard, plays with some physicality, and plays on the penalty kill. So once we get everybody back from injuries, potentially if everybody's healthy, we'll have some decisions to make. But as of now, we like the depth that we have on the blue line, and there will be some competition not only on the blue line, but throughout the roster for spots in the lineup and ice time in the game.
Welcome back to Big D Energy, and what you just heard is the snippet from the Daniela Bruce interview with Steve Yzerman. You see D-Mac clapping. The one thing Stevie Y hit on, and he hit on multiple times, is depth.
Well, that's a huge thing that we didn't have. In the past, obviously guys competing. I think the biggest thing that what you said is when they are healthy, there'll be decisions to make. Stevie wants that. You want Steve Yzerman to have to make tough decisions. That's the guy you want to have to make tough decisions because you got NHL players. I think that unfortunately, as he said, with the signing of Pysyk, then getting injured, that's unfortunate. But just even a little play there of seeing signing NHL players. Oli Mata being a former first rounder, but you look at Hegg, solid physical defenseman that has played in this league. Those guys turn out to be more of a dime a dozen. That's a guy that you have to win with. So I think it's great. Let alone Steve named off a bunch of youth, a bunch of guys that are going to be fighting for jobs, a bunch of names that we see come in and out. So as training camp approaches, this is exciting. It's exciting now because a lot of the younger kids are off to play World Juniors and stuff like that. So I couldn't think of bringing in somebody who would know more about this. You actually know this guy a little bit, right?
I may know.
You guys do some stuff together?
We do.
Country band?
We do.
The Jeff and Gentry show? That's a podcast. I thought it was a print.
Oh, I love it. Welcome to the show, our guy, Michael Gentry, guy who covers the Red Wings for us. He's the best. Welcome, Michael.
Gentry.
Yeah, sit up, Gentry.
Thanks for having me, boys. D-Mac, Jeff, Spencer.
Yes.
Yeah, no problem, man. I mean, listen, we have discussions all the time on the Jeff and Gentry pod. We had Darren McCarty on. We discussed a lot of different things. But hearing this snippet by Daniela Bruce, Stevie Y talking about the depth, and we have a question I do want to ask you because you know this team in and out. What is one thing you're looking for the Red Wings to do this year in order to take that next step?
Well, like last year, you've seen they would come out and they would either start really hot and end really slow, or vice versa, or whatnot. They need to play a full 60 minutes. You always see that where either they would come out really hot, score a bunch of goals, and then blow the game, or but other than that, you need more production out of your lines. You can't just have the first line carrying the whole weight of the team. But as you've seen, Yzerman added depth so you have more lines, you have more offense coming in. With Perron, you have Kubalek, you have Verana going to play a full year. So that's always something you're going to look out for, and that they need to step in and make an immediate impact. And the defense left their goalie out to dry far too much last season. They need to get after pucks, limit spacing and whatnot. But the goaltending duo is going to improve, obviously, with the addition of Billy Husso. So you will get some let back off of that, but you got to play better defensively. And, with Sherrod, Mata, like D-Mac did say, that's going to help us a lot.
Well, you added guys that have games, and you added guys, the big thing there. And one of the things behind the curtain, or as Jeff and I were talking, what was the question you asked me? Is Steve Yzerman does he always talk?
Yeah, is he always that cool, calm, and collected?
Listen, that's the sincere, when he talks like that, he's giving you, that's the E.F. Hutton, where he's giving you all the answers, he's not hiding anything, he's having that conversation. That's the sincerity of the man. I'll let you know when he's not, when he's not sincere. But that he's pretty much telling you, as a Red Wing fan, this is how it's set up. Now we have to let it play out, and along the way, there's going to be decisions to be made. But it's a lot to do with the young guys. He mentioned the David Perron. How valuable a right-handed goal scorer, especially a guy on the power play, right? The two things that he addressed, he addressed every question that needed to be addressed, right? We got to keep the puck out of the net. So what did he do? He went out and spent a third rounder to get Billy Husso, who he believes, who Steve Yzerman, here's a caveat, he doesn't really like goalies, right? He's not the biggest fan of goalies, okay? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, the enforcer guys and the goalies get along great. But what I'm saying is that when he sees one that he likes to give the potential, and what he's done is that he likes Nedeljkovic, he likes Husso. So guys, go challenge each other, go push each other,
right.
Go figure out together, or one of you, I don't care, because all Stevie cares about as goalies is stop the thing. It's not dodgeball, right? Get in front of it, right? But then you move on. We know keeping the puck, you mentioned it, out of the net, adding the defensive guys, the Sherrats, the Matas, the Hags, the different like this, to help with your PK, right? Your PK, what does that have to do with puck possession, face-offs? What'd you do? You signed Andrew Kopp, who's a face-off specialist, as your big money buy, and then you added one of the best right-handed shot power play guys and a David Perron, so you would immediately expect your PK to be better, which means your goals against to be down, your power play to be better, your goals against to be up, which on paper, it's set up that way. Unfortunately, paper doesn't win. You got to play the game. There's going to be injuries, but it's competition. You're not it's the exact opposite of the Tigers. No, but I'm saying, so we haven't, and now the question is because now you hear names like Stevie spout out young guys, the Berggrens, who was in GR last year, Soderstrom, or is it Soderblom or
Soderblom?
Soderblom, who was in Sweden. You hear the Edvinsson, right? These are guys, if you hear it coming off his mouth, then he's expecting good things in the next, and maybe not this year, but the next year, guys competing. Right? We go to what's going on now. Tell me a little bit of the World Junior Championships going on over in Europe, correct? So how many Detroit Red Wing prospects? I came into the office and I said to you this morning, I said, did you see the number 2 second-round draft pick, right-hand shot, Russian kid, Butelj? Did you see it?
No, I was looking for the video.
Butelj or whatever his name is. I apologize, I don't know it, but it was one of those. He looked like Ovi, young Ovi, one-timer, top glove. It's just so there's talent there. It's got to be exciting, but there's a lot of guys that if you can find this World Junior Championship playing for their countries, Sweden's one you want to do because you want to see all your Red Wing guys, but it's right there, guys. It's right there. Now it's just got to bake. The ingredients he's putting all the ingredients out, right? Now we're baking it.
And I think another thing, Ludacorp said it great in the chat, the level of transparency we've had with the Red Wings franchise is amazing. It's that transparency you talk about with Yzerman.
And here's what you got to understand, right? Steve Yzerman will give you what you want when he wants to give it to you, not when you want it. When he wants to give it to you, and you know what? Trust me, it's for the best. But what do you look? What do you look? Do you pay attention to not only what the GM says, but with all this talent? Is it all this talent throughout? Is there somebody out there that you got your eye on, whether it was a signing guy or somebody that intrigues you? We mentioned the Lions and Hard Knocks and stuff coming on TV. Who are you looking for? How about this training camp?
Well, as far as training camp goes, I don't know. It's really tough. I'm going to say Andrew Cobb because I would like the Red Wings have always needed that second line center, and it's been so crucial within the last couple of years. But like you said, he's going to make such an impact on the power play, on the face-off dot and whatnot. And I think he was kind of like that veteran player that we needed to like get to that next level, and we got him at a great price. He has a relationship with Larkin. He has he's been a captain before. He was Larkin's captain, so it's just the type of guy we need. And I really want to see like what kind of effect he has on this team and the locker room.
How about this fact? You're going to have Verona for a full season.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
That's the big one.
You know, here's and my Sam Flannel Hutchinson 12 sack is 40 goals for Verona.
I'm kind of liking that one.
Healthy is 40. Well, mine are a little bit more realistic.
He's getting 30 no matter what.
Yeah, he's walking 30 goals.
That's it. To stay healthy, availability, but. These are the conversations. You know, there are going to be some tough decisions to be made. It's just who's making these decisions.
I got a question from the chat. Philippines on Demand. I wanted to ask you and Gentry, are you guys happy that they didn't end up going with Tortorella? Because Tortorella he brings the defense, but he kind of kills the locker room a little bit.
I never wanted Tortorella.
Yeah, I didn't want him either.
I don't want no rehash, regurg. You never were going to get it. You always knew Stevie was doing what it's consistency. We're all consistent to the game plan of giving somebody else the new. No,
and
absolutely not the team to be built. If this was an older team, sort of to the Colorado, that won the cup, that was near the end of their run. If it's say this team in 3 or 4 years, if it's already settled, and you need that disciplinary guy to bring you over the edge, then that's the conversation to have. Right now, no.
Yeah, no, I would say no too, because Eisenman got his guy, and Lalonde has experience with growing young players. So I would rather go with him, and he's kind of like that perfect guy to start fresh with this team. Tortorella, it's just, I don't know. I wouldn't
want to, and that's not to Tortorella. That's to any of the recycled DeBoers and all these other guys that we're not at that point.
And I wasn't saying Tortorella doesn't have experience growing young guys, but I just think Lalonde is the perfect guy for the Red Wings situation.
No, absolutely. Well, thanks, Gentry.
Yeah, appreciate you, Gentry.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me.
Follow him on all socials, Gentry16. Check out the Jeff and Gentry pod on Twitter. But before we get into our next topic, we got to go to break. And we got to hear about our friends from Big Boy.
No, we're going to hear from Guardian.
Guardian Alarm.
But, you know, because they protect Big Boy.
They do.
Don't you know that? Because you can have the Sabatas.
Stay out.
Guardian Alarm keeps you safe, gives you peace of mind, whether you're at home or on the road, 24/7. Local monitoring makes sure what you deem important is safe. So if you want to be part of the Big D Energy Woodward Sports family, give us a call today, 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
111 straight days of protecting the flannel, 1-800.
Stay out. Get out of my house.
Stay out.
Stay out. Stay square. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Tell them Big D Energy Woodward Sports. We sent you.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
All month long, yes, get your butts over to Big Frog and Novi. Get a free Woodward Sports t-shirt. That's right, a free Woodward Sports t-shirt all month long at Big Frog and Novi. So you just stop in, you tell them that we sent you. Anybody from Woodward, from Bottom Line, Big D Energy, Morning Wood, whatever it is, and they will print you one on the spot.
On the spot?
On the spot, bro. So go to Big Frog Novi today and get your free t-shirt and visit them online. BigFrog.com/Novi.
Welcome back to Big D Energy. I am Jeffrey Iafrate. I'm filling in for the real deal, Neil Rule, this week. My partner in crime for the week, the man you know, four-time Stanley Cup champion, Darren McCarty. And I do want to get into some Pistons talk. We're kind of knee-deep in the second hour. And I do want to pose this question because it's a question that has been discussed a lot. What's up, D-Mac?
Stop it in the chat. We're not trading Bertuzzi for Barzal.
Talk to him, D-Mac.
All right? Stop it. Back to Pistons.
Had to clear it up. Bertuzzi is here to stay. But I do want to get into Cade Cunningham. And listen, his second year, I know a lot of people are excited. You saw some flashes his rookie year doing things that only Michael Jordan did in the month of March. But this question, can Cade, and I want you to put in the poll as well, Spence, I want to hear from the people, can Cade Cunningham become an all-star in year 2? Which, that's a big ask, I'll tell you that, because in the East, it's already a very, very deep conference. But more than that, I think, and I said this before, I think there's a difference. I think Cade can put up all-star numbers, but can he make the all-star team? Those are two different conversations. I don't think so in year 2. The Pistons got to win games. Even last year, I brought up LaMelo Ball made the all-star team and DeJounte Murray, two guys that were injury replacements, number one. So you never know with guys getting injured. Maybe Cade can sneak in there if the Pistons win close to 40 games. But DeJounte Murray made it when the Spurs won 35. That is in the West. But in the East, LaMelo Ball made it when the Hornets won about 40 games. So, and LaMelo's putting up stats in his second year that I think Cade will put up in his second year. So I do want to, before I give my answer, of course, I got to go around the room, get the opinions of my guys. D-Mac, is this question crazy? Can Cade become an all-star in year 2?
I think you nailed it, but I think the writing's on the wall as far as how the league views a player on a team that doesn't win games, whether he's a rookie of the year, whether he's an all-star or whatever. So winning does matter in the NBA. Right. The fact it's almost like, well, will they have the win criteria? Right? And what is that, 40 wins? You said 40 wins. Well, that's 500 team. Mm-hmm. So this isn't a 500 team. So I don't think that the eyeballs, he doesn't get the look. Just sort of like the voting for Rookie of the Year.
Absolutely.
So in saying that, until this team starts making waves, until this team starts winning, I think he's going to turn some heads. But unless if there's injuries and stuff like that, does he deserve it to see an all-star caliber? Yes, in my opinion, he is. Right. But I think this is more of a conversation for year number 3 as the team gets better. So this year, what is the over-under is 27 or something like that, right? So say they went 30 games this year, and are they going to be a 40-win team the next year because they can improve because of the youth and stuff like this? Then will the league start looking into them and going, oh, Detroit, as they're building, oh, it's got to be Cade's team. That's it. Good, bad, right, wrong, I don't know. It's just the way it is. The NBA is a individual league, and you nailed it as far as there's too many other guys that have put games in and been around that are great players that have more winning records.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
it matters more your record than it does in the NHL. So that's different, and it was proven last year right here in Detroit by the voting for the Rookie of the Year in basketball and the Rookie of the Year in hockey, which to me they had comparable seasons. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But at the end of the caller, when Mo Sider, it showed you as a Detroit sports fan must have had a lot of respect because the league got it right. They saw it the same way. Does that make sense?
It does.
So they don't see the Pistons the same way we see them.
No, you're 100% right. And it used to be the all-star to make the all-star team, you have to win. And to win Rookie of the Year, it wasn't so much focused on winning. But now it's all winning. You got to win, period. And I think that's what's going to hurt Cade in his second year. I think more talent is around him. There's no arguing that. But it's just to say he'll make the All-Star team, I wouldn't bet on it. To go back to what you said about the Eagles, wouldn't bet on it, but it can happen.
Yes.
Could happen. Sam Flannery, what do you think, man?
But I think it's more of to that argument, I think it's more of what the team does than what he does individually.
Right on. What do you think, Sam? You think it's possible the man makes the All-Star team in year 2?
Not only is it possible, he will make the All-Star team in year 2. I am predicting that right now. And one of the reasons
Drop the mic, Sam.
is because
I'm going to have to start making a board.
in the month of
Record
March,
everything on
Sam Flannels. Wow. No, I
in
like
the month of March, after he got his rookie growing pains out of the way, he was one of the best point guards in the NBA.
Preach.
And next year, he's going to have a lot more talent around him, a lot more young pieces, like a guy like Jaden Ivey, who's athletic and can finish lobs and in transition. I see Cade Cunningham having a stat line something of like 21, 7 and 8 on 45% from the floor and 35% from 3. And also, you mentioned LaMelo Ball. There is precedent with a second-year point guard who who is kind of a similar sort of player, but I think Cade Cunningham is even better, and I think he will shine this year and make the All-Star team.
And I think, too, before I get to you, Spenny, I got to say this. I think the point guard position, there's going to be a lot of competition as well. Like, even a guy like Anthony Edwards in the West last year had a breakout season, I guess you could say. He improved from his rookie year. I think Anthony Edwards has the skill to be an All-Star, but he wasn't. And the Minnesota Timberwolves did win some games. So I think a lot of things have to go right, but certainly it can happen. I guess the way I'm approaching it is, will it happen? It's a tough one to call.
I'm with Sam, baby. He's doing it. He's doing it. It's we looked at the different things. I looked at his stats after they added Marvin Bagley. They gave him a legitimate lob threat, a guy that could attack the bucket. He averaged 22, 7, and 5. He got more of that with guys like the athleticness of Jaden Ivey, of Jalen Duren, with solidified NBA players like Alec Burks, like Nerlens Noel that can fill those holes. Jeremy Grant's gone. This is Cade Cunningham's team undoubtedly now. He is going to have the ball in his hands a lot more. He's going to be dictating the offense a lot more. He changed his body. Gaines Cunningham, Braids Cunningham. He's coming in yoked, ready to go. The guy is going to fight through contact a lot more. He is going to get a lot more contested shots to fall. He is going to get a lot more free throw opportunities because he's not going to have the disrespect of this being his rookie season again. So if he averages, let's say, 4 to 5 free throw attempts a game, boom, that's an extra 4 points on top of that. I have him this year averaging 22 points per game. I got him at like 7.5 assists and 4.5 rebounds, and those are all-star numbers for me. Love Cade. Love this team. He's going to be an all-star this year. Book it.
In Detroit, you hear it? Beautiful. Beautiful. In the chat, seems to agree with you guys as well. Can Cade Cunningham become an all-star in year 2? 75% say yes, and 25% say no. That's with 55 votes. And I can see where people are coming from. I mean, certainly Cade is cerebral enough, has enough talent to make the All-Star team. The point I struggle with, too, is, and I went back and forth with this with other Pistons fans, is expectations this year, D-Mac. And like you said, and we talked about, to make the All-Star team, you got to win. And I haven't really had a chance to really talk with you about your expectations for the Pistons this year. I expect them to contend for the play-in. I don't have... I can't sit here and say they will make the play-in, considering the teams that made the play-in last year. 40 wins. You got to have 40 wins. So, like, where do you put the Pistons this year? Because we'll start there.
I put more respect than what Vegas has them, but you got to always look and go, what does Vegas know that I don't know?
They always know something.
Right? So I think that just like the Red Wings, there's the expectation to make the playoffs isn't there, but the expectations to be in the conversation the last couple weeks of the season. Maybe you got to win 3 games in a row and you can get in, but you're nipping at the heels of the playoffs. I think the Pistons, they stay healthy. The big thing also, too, where I go back, and I know Jeremy Grant's not here, but when we interviewed him, and it was the fact that these guys weren't healthy together to be able to play, and it was always they'd sit around and talk about, man, imagine if we could get out there. Well, this group is going to be able to get out there and do that, so you never know if sky's the limit. But I think that they're going to come up a little short. I think that if I was going to put a number on it, they're around a 32, 33-win team. You know what? But sky's the limit. You never know, right? With these young, you never know with a group of young guys. They go out. Because here's the one thing. This is what our expectations are, or we're reading the writing on the wall. At the end of the day, they're the ones that go out and ball. They don't give a crap what we say. True. And we've seen this in sports before. right? Younger teams at different levels. The Fab Five comes to mind, where it's a group, and this is basketball. So the great thing is basketball being a 5-man game. If you get on the same page, no matter what age you are, ballin', Sam. You're knocking them down. You're knocking down shots. It doesn't matter how old you are.
No, it doesn't.
As the great Bill Russell said,
tell them
these young bloods need to remember this game is all about buckets.
Tell them.
Young bloods need to remember.
You know what? Hey, you know what Bill Russell also said? I heard he said something about the great place, and you got to go check out Big Boy, because let me tell you about our friends from Big Boy, because it's time for the summer salads, the hand dip shakes. I know Spenny knows about those hand dip shakes. All at Big Boy. Try a chicken club, chicken cordon bleu, or a sunrise ham and cheddar. All on our grilled ciabatta bread. Or keep it light with our Michigan apple, chicken Caesar, and Greek salad. And don't forget to cool off with a nice hand-dipped cookies and cream or strawberry shake. That sounds delicious. You heard it here first. Summer just got better at Big Boy. Ciabatta.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
Welcome back to Big D Energy. We're getting close towards the end of the show, and we got some more topics to get into. And I do want to talk about one thing, and that's the rookies for the Detroit Pistons this year. I know people have different expectations. Mine may differ from everybody else in this room. But I have a it's a juicy question, no pun intended. And it's a question we're going to drop to the people in the chat. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. But I'll pose it right now. Which rookie for the Pistons is going to be more vital for this team's success this year? To me, it's an easy answer. But it's Jaden Ivey or Jalen Duren. And D-Mac, I'll start with you, man. Who's more vital? If this team is where you ultimately think they'll be, who's the rookie you're paying attention to the most?
Who's the one that can benefit, right? So it goes back to our last segment conversation about Cade being an all-star and stuff like that, and who helps the development more so. What do we see? It's a guard league. It's a shooting league. It's got to be on the outside. Now, the difference is between the development is there's going to be time for Marvin Bagley and Jalen Duren to develop the inside game. I think that we saw that last year with the addition of Marvin Bagley, how Cade, how it opened up the inside to play down low. So that's always there. To me, it's about hitting buckets. To me, it's about the distribution and bringing it up and what Ivey can bring. If he can develop along and progress like Cade did, and maybe not even as quickly as Cade did, but it's the maturity. The one thing I was never worried about, I don't think I worry about the maturity of Jalen Duren as much as that I question maybe some of the maturity of Jaden Ivey. So for me, it's not talent, right? Because I think that as far as talent-wise, you're going to find out. In the NBA, you got to be able to play. Sam's going to legend kill you right off the hop anyways. There's no hiding anywhere. But to me, it's Jaden Ivey being the pick that he was with the direction that this team needs to go. He's your development under. If you're going to use old adage of if Cade Cunningham's your Isaiah Thomas, and then it's got to be your Joe Dumars.
Bingo. You hit it right on the head. This is why I also chose Ivey, and I know people that I've spoke to that chose Duren would argue, well, we know what we're getting out of Ivey. For the Pistons to take it up a whole nother level, you need Duren to hit that, to get to what we expect him to get to. I'm going to say Ivey, though, for everything you just said, D-Mac. On top of that, this is the guy. Like, this is who you draft at 5. Like, this is why you see the comparisons. Dwayne Wade was drafted at 5. Like, I think he has enough talent to be that co-star, to be, the in the backcourt with Cade Cunningham, hopefully leading this team to deep, playoff runs, hopefully a finals appearance, hopefully a finals win. So I think there's a lot more it's more vital for Ivey to come out and have a breakout season because that will take the Pistons up an entire level. Because one conversation we had with Neil last week, and Neil brought it up, and he keeps bringing it up, you're losing Jeremy Grant, and I know people gave him flack, but that's 20 points, man. Where's your buckets?
So who needs the development to get you those buckets quicker? Where are you going to get it? You're not going to get it in the 2s down low. You're going to get it 3s outside. So.
And it'll be spread, but Ivey's going to have to fill that void. So I'm going to go with Ivey.
He's going to have to take the majority.
Right. Like,
I'll fill it in 14, 50, you know what I mean? 12, 14.
And then Cade a little bit, Sadiq a little bit. Everybody can
whatever,
jump in.
And you can do it that way. I just think Duren is afforded a little bit more time in development.
True.
I think that understand that if you're going to see, I guess, a slower development in him, not a slower, but
I get what you mean.
Time to elapse, and you're going to wait till the end of the season, and it's a bigger man and stuff like this. We'll give him a 2-year. You nailed it too, Jeff, is the fact that him being the 5th overall, him being the guy, if we're moving forward faster, going to be in that conversation of getting into the playing game and stuff like this, this is your guy. This is your guy that has to be the guy.
Yep, absolutely. And I want to shift the conversation. Sam Flannel, a guy that I love when you give our takes, man. I want to hear it right now. Duren or Ivey, who's more vital if the Pistons have success this year?
Oh, it's
success.
It's definitely Ivey. And one of the reasons is because with Duren, I feel like he is a nice piece. With Jaden Ivey, he could be the second star on this team. Jaden Ivey gives them an element that they didn't have last year. He's sort of the perfect combination of a guy who can play off ball. He can play with Cade. I think he'll finish a lot of lobs. I think he'll finish in transition. But he can also, when things break down, just go get a bucket. And also, I see him being able to maybe improve his shooting, because his last season at Purdue, he was a 36% three-point shooter. That's not terrible. I think that can translate to the NBA. And with Duren, what scares me a little bit is, like I said, I just see him as a piece, a guy who could develop into a guy who maybe averages 12 and 10 at his peak. He has to get a jump shot, but I don't know if he'll ever develop a 3. I don't know if he'll ever develop a playmaking ability. I think he'll be a nice center, but Jaden Ivey could be a star.
He nailed it. You can afford Duren to bust. Can't afford Ivey to bust.
The way Sam Flannel, man.
He nailed it. No, but
really
you can afford.
You
need Ivey to be everything you think he is.
Mm-hmm.
Duren is. If Duren is everything you think he is, you're that much further along. But he is the caveat piece. He's the accessory, right? He's that gamer chair. You don't need it to play, but it helps.
I like that, gamer chair. What about you, Spenny? What do you think?
This is tough for me because...
How tough?
Pretty tough.
Tougher than deciding which shot to do first on a Friday night?
It is.
Oh, it is.
It really is. Because I normally go with tequila and then I'm good. But it's tough because we needed this big guy, this paint presence all year last year. We were starting Trey Lyles, for God's sakes, at center in games last year. So if you get a piece like Duren and he turns out to be that freak athlete in the middle, defensive stopper, rebounder, something we didn't have last year, that is huge. As well as what Sam said, he does need to develop a little bit of jump shot. But I've been watching his highlights, his tape that he's been doing over. He's working on that jumper. So if he can hit that jump shot, not only, I'm not saying a 3-pointer right away, but a 15 to 17 footer, that will bring a huge factor into his game. And if he can hit that consistently, if he does stretch it out to the 3-point line, he will be a generational type center. So it's still very young for him. So I don't want to put all that pressure on him this year. But next year, or this year, I'm going Jaden Ivey for sure, because like you guys said, he needs to be that Robin to Cade's Batman. But overall, in the totality of what the Pistons are, I think it's Jalen Duren, because what he can become is crazy. At 18, to be this skilled already,
it's unreal.
To be this freakish of an athlete and this much of a grown man already, that would be impressive. So if he can develop that jump shot, He'll be a monster. He'll be a freak of nature. So this year, Ivey. In the future, Duren.
That's a good way to put it, though, Spence. I mean, and especially how Flannel phrased it, too. Like, him and D-Mac with the accessory comment. It's true. Like, if Ivey doesn't work out, God forbid, I think he will work out. I'm not saying he won't. You need Duren to be, like, the second coming of Embiid for this thing to really, because I think Ivey can be a superstar. And I think Duren, on top of that, to Spencer's point, like, if whatever you get out of Duren, even if he becomes, like you said, Sam Flannel, which I don't agree with, but I could see why, a career 12-10 guy, that's just on top of what you already have. If he becomes even better, like, me and Spence think he will, seeing him work out in the offseason, you're set. Well, like, you got four guys, legitimate franchise players.
Well, and I failed to mention, I think Jalen Duren is going to provide great things with his post defense.
True.
Being like a rim protector. That's something that I completely forgot to mention, and I think that is something that will be of value no matter what he provides on offense. So I have a lot of hope for Duren. I just don't think he's as valuable as Ivey.
And that's no fault against. I mean, Mark says it in the chat. Politician answer, Spence. Right down the middle. I mean, you're slick, Spence, aren't you?
It's fair. It's fair. Yeah.
But you're right, though. Like, that's the way to say it. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and say Spence isn't going to come on the mic and say, Duren's not vital for this team's success. But also, it's Ivey. It's a little bit of both, if you want to look at it. I think both guys are going to be vital if they're going to have any success this year. But like we all just mentioned, you take the guy 5th overall, he's your second franchise player. I mean, you could say Cade is, but Jaden Ivey's that dude. Duren can be a beneficiary on top of all those things. So, very excited, but we do need to get to break. And after that, please drop your questions, because coming out of break, we're going to be doing Ask D-Mac, the questions for the 4-time Stanley Cup champion. But before we go to break, we got to hear from our friends at the Academy of Warren.
Well, the Academy of Warren is a brand new state-of-the-art sports dome field house that has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field, and also going to be used for 7-on-7 football. The kindergarten to 8th grade features AM and PM latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, and athletics. So if you want to be part of Academy of Warren, enroll today. academyofwarren.net. Tell them Big D Energy sent you.
Tell them!
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risk, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Hey, it's Scott from the Woodward Bet Show. Hey, it's Monday. What a week we got. We got some Lions football coming up here this weekend. So listen, you guys got to make sure you check us out at 4:30 over at the Woodward Bets YouTube page. We've been talking lots of fantasy football. And also, you guys got to make sure you get over to that app store and download oddstrader.com. It's got live scoring, play-by-play updates, and best place to check all the odds at the sports books right in the palm of your hand. But hey, let's get to that winner. That's what we want. We're going to roll with the over in this Washington Cubs game. Anibal Sanchez stinks. That's good enough. Oddstrader.com. Woodward Bets. Check it out.
Welcome back to Big D Energy on this Monday afternoon. I am Jeff Iafrate. I'm filling in for Neil Rule this week. And we have a very special segment, the closing segment, which is Ask D-Mac, where you guys can drop your questions in the chat, and I will ask the 4-time Stanley Cup champion for you. But I do want to start off with a fun question, because our guy Jake, who watches all of the Woodward Sports shows, asks, Ask Juicy, if you had to trade hair with anybody at WSN, who would you pick? I mean, my God, you put me on the spot like that. You know what? The answer's between Spencer or Ryan, because Spencer's got let me look at this man. Put the camera.
See, I'm taking Justin's.
Justin's another one. We have a lot of beautiful hair at this company.
We got some beautiful hair babies in the back.
I think it would be like a 3-way tie. I mean, I don't know. You got
Spenny's
luscious,
some
and
solid
flow.
mane, especially coming deer season. Yeah. I mean, you aren't going to get cold with that stuff.
All right, well, enough of the hair
Kentucky
questions.
waterfall.
We do want to shift it to D-Mac. We do got some questions, and I'll start feeding them to you. D-Mac, do you have any favorite prospects in the Red Wings pipeline personally?
The biggest one that I would be excited about is Simon Edvinsson, just because of I'm excited for a lot of them, right? And it's just figuring out how they're going to fit in and not getting too excited, like opening your presents before Christmas, all in due time. I just think that from everything that I hear, right, from the guys that I respect the most, that we got another special guy here. I think the size, the fact being a left-handed shot.
There you go.
On defense, in the NHL to win in the playoffs, it's evolved from that all-star superstar center to you need that stalwart defenseman. Now we got one of Mo Seider, but if we could have two, it takes me back to when I was first coming up, where you have the makings of a Lidstrom and Konstantinov on the blue line again, right? Not saying accolades, anything like that, but pedigree with the size and in this NHL.
It's a recipe. It's a recipe. Gosh. Next question comes from Casey. I'm going to ask Casey's question. Ask D-Mac, do the Red Wings overtake the Bruins and the Senators this year and compete for a wild card spot?
You know what? It's you would think, and by the way, the Bruins just re-signed their captain, Patrice Bergeron, to a 1-year, $2.5 million contract, so he'll be back. Ottawa's making moves, obviously, this offseason to get better. Boston, who you could say is more on a downtrend, but they still got NHL guys, one of the best top lines in Marchand, Pasternak, and Bergeron, but those are the teams that you're going to have to get in front of. So I think, like I said, I'm hoping that we're in this conversation. You asked me that question. Mm-hmm. Can we beat Boston and can we beat Ottawa these last 2 games to get into the playoffs? If we're in that spot, then we're playing with house money, in my opinion.
And I love this question, too, because I'm curious to see. Nick asks, ask D-Mac, what was your welcome to the NHL moment? What player, coach moment made you realize you made it to the big leagues? There's always one. There's always one. And you hear a lot of it from NFL guys, NBA guys. But
you know what it was? You can pull it up. It's a Chicago Stadium. The rookie game, if you pull up the fight where there's a 5-on-5 brawl, and I beat up Cam Russell in the corner, and in the old Chicago Stadium with all the fans going nuts, we squared off at center ice. And
welcome.
That was it. Flair for the dramatic, squared off like in junior. You can pull that up from exhibition my rookie year, but that was it. That's when it was like, hey, a bucket list right there.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. And Zach asked, D-Mac, would you rather have the Lions, and this is kind of an interesting one, would you rather have the Lions go 6-8 or have 6 to 8 wins and coaches, coordinators stay in Detroit, or go 10 to 12 games and the coaches, coordinators get plucked away?
No,
I don't care. Just win.
No, build. This year is the clock runs out. It's a perfect question for this year, right? I will. To your point, it's about winning and getting the playoffs to whatever, but I think that moving forward with the culture, you want everybody else. Because why? Because I would expect that if you got the 6 to 8, kept the coach and had the structure, whatever like that, the next year is the 10, 11, 12 win playoff run more so, right? I want one in between. I don't want anybody, thinking about leaving unless there's a replacement in place.
Smart man.
So because of the clock, that's a clock question. Answered the clock, I will take 6 to 8.
That's an analytical answer, man. It kind of made me change my mind. Kevin asked,
big old clock. It's a big old clock. Keep it out of your mouth.
No lies detected. We'll move on to the next question. Ask D-Mac, did you catch the A&E WWE biography on Lex Luger, and what is your thoughts?
You know what? I haven't. It's on my to check it out, knowing the Lex Luger, story and stuff like that. Obviously, wrestler that has gone through, hard times and stuff like this, drug abuse, everything else, the connection to Miss Elizabeth and all the different things. So, you know what? The most important part is that we're getting these sides of the story, whether you like it or not, to see the whole story play out. It's not about the right or wrong. It's just about the is. So I will definitely check it out. I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Moving on to the next question Ask D-Mac, this is the final one. Who would be your all-time first line? Maybe do 5 of your favorite players growing up and another 5 of players you've wanted to play with or you've played with. What's your all-time first line?
That's
a tough one. It's too much. You got to break that one down.
Dude, right off the bat, from the guys that I played with, is that I'm going to go Stevie, Sergey, and Shanny. And you can't. You got everything in there, right? I'll put Sergey on left wing, I'll put Sergey on right wing, and let him skate all around.
Goalie screwed.
But those 3 of the, just for what they brought to the table, I'd have to look it down. But that's usually the starting lineup I used in my EA Sports game. So that's my first line.
Oh yeah, you're never losing with that lineup.
I don't even put myself on the first line. That's how dedicated I am. Reality. 1919.
Brian Todd asked, D-Mac, what do you consider the city of Detroit to be more of? A football town or a hockey town?
Football. It is.
And that's coming from the hockey guy.
No, it is hockey town.
Yeah.
But listen. So if we had 1.5 million people for the parade and it was such a party or whatever, if the Lions ever win, the whole state will be down here. There's never a question that we're all Lions fans too that come through here. But no, absolutely, that's not even close. We just, while the Lions haven't been able to do anything, then it's hot. But it is hockey town.
No, I would agree with you. And that is all we got for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm filling in for Neil Rule. I will be on the rest of the week. But until then, stay sharp. Turn into the bottom line. 2 to 4 here on the Woodward Sports Network. But until then,
heavyweights tonight.
And the heavyweights, 5 to 7. Don't forget about Easy and Spence. But until then, guys, I got to do the Neil. Well, see you later.